The Mystery of the Magical Cucumber Tree tells the story of a beautiful family from urban New York City and their camping trip to Mount Beacon in Dutchess County, New York. On the way to Mount Beacon, they camp out at different sites along the way. One night they stay at the Craig House Mansion in Beacon and find a cucumber tree, which takes them on a journey to find the history associated with the tree and the landscape. The tree takes the Cabo family on a magical, informative trip about the history of early American horticulture, where they learn about Andrew Jackson Downing, Henry Winthrop Sargent, and the history of New York City's Central Park. There is also an appendix with writing about relationships with trees and the story of America's famous 9/11 survivor tree from the World Trade Center attacks. The book is for young readers and adult nature lovers who are interested in organics, sustainability, trees, plants, nature, and making a change for future generations. Thank you for supporting the New York City Urban Park Rangers and the Sargent and Downing Gardens and Nursery, because 2/3 of the profits from the sales of this book will be donated to their children's horticulture educational programs. Upon completing the book, The Mystery of the Magical Cucumber Tree, I realized that it wouldn't be complete if I didn't write about relationships with trees and my own special relationship with the 9/11 survivor tree, because after all, it is because of that tree that I look at all trees in a different light. In the spring of 2001, I had just begun my new career at the citywide nursery. On 9/11, during the World Trade Center attacks, that's where my relationship with the 9/11 survivor tree began. On 9/11/2001, 2 airplanes hit the World Trade Center towers in New York City. America and New York were under attack. If I were to tell you a story about a calorie pear tree which one of the World Trade Center towers fell on and took off the entire crown, and told you that that tree 9 years later would be 30 feet tall and beautiful as ever, returning back to ground zero to represent America, all of the people who fell on 9/11, and all the families and the survivors of the 9/11 attacks, it would sound like an impossible story. But this is the true story of the 9/11 survivor tree. In October of 2001, when I first met the 9/11 survivor tree, this is how it looked. In the background we placed an American flag and a monument made of stone to pay tribute to that terrible day in our history. This is what our calorie pear 9/11 survivor tree looked like at the citywide nursery after 8 years. When the tree first came in, I thought of the tree as an it, but after having the tree with us for 9 years before she returned back to ground zero, I referred to the tree as she. Yes, the tree became a family to all of us at the citywide nursery. This is what the 9/11 survivor tree looked like the last fall before she would be returning back home to ground zero. New York City Department of Parks and the 9/11 Memorial Museum worked hand in hand to assure the safe return of the 9/11 survivor tree back home to the World Trade Center. Here you can get an up-close look at the care that was taken in removing the tree and returning her back home. The tree was boxed in very carefully so that she would not go into shock when she was moved. Here you can see the tree carefully being lifted with a boom to be placed on a flatbed truck for her trip back home. The tree was carefully strapped to a hinge-styled plate to lay it down carefully and slowly on its side. December 21st, 2010. This will be the last photo of the 9/11 survivor Calorie Pear tree at the citywide nursery, just before she returned back home to the World Trade Center. The Survivor Tree by Faith A. Johnson, second grade school teacher from Salem, New Hampshire. I received this poem on May 2011. A miracle of botany, human spirit and community. In face of great adversity, back to life and breathing free. It is known as the Survivor Tree. Buried under twisted steel, determined branches hands could feel. Its blackened trunk, leaves no more, and yet some life inside its core. Where once its blossoms did embrace, a Calorie Pear showcased this place. Where towers stood and life was loud, a city and a country proud. October day the tree was found. Amidst confusion, sadness sounds, came hopeful plans to nurse the tree back to vibrant life, healthy. And so it was that Calorie Pear moved to the Bronx. Now home was there, cleaned of ash, cushioned in soil. Human hands would gently toil. To bring the tree back its life, overcoming hurts and strife, just as our country proving strong, the tree grew tall with branches long. And next to it a flag did fly, reminding all that dreams don't die. Our roots of freedom running deep, our nation strong, and memories keep. Of loved ones lost, forever gone, yet in our hearts love carries on. A Calorie Pear, survivor tree, came back to where it used to be. It reaches high into the sky, and to the heaven leads our eyes. Grow strong, our dear survivor tree, for our America, land of the free. In 2011, when the United States caught up with bin Laden, President Obama paid a visit to the World Trade Center. Although he had not many words to say, his actions spoke very loudly. He placed a wreath at the foot of the 9/11 survivor tree to pay tribute to all of the fallen, the survivors, and the families.